Hi there, I'm Chef Lauren Smith, and this is Conscious Culinary, where we show you how to cook with natural partners, manufacturer partners products. Today we're featuring Lane Medical. They have an awesome product called 3A Calcium Ultra. It's a fantastic bone strengthening supplement, and it has over 20 years of research and development. It is super potent, and there is patented product in it. So nothing's really more important than keeping up high levels of calcium in your diet to prevent bone loss, right? Especially as we approach our 30s, because after that, what we've got is what we got. So you want to make sure there's lots of calcium in your diet. And one of the easiest ways to get that is with milk. A lot of people don't work well with milk, but try something like goat milk if you're lactose sensitive or intolerant. And then you can even turn to some nut milks that are still rich in calcium, like almond, really good magnesium in that as well. So what I'm going to do today is just show you how to make a really simple yogurt. It is so easy to do at home. You don't even need to buy yogurt starter. You just need a little bit of yogurt to help you out, and you can make it from whatever kind of milk you want. I'm telling you, we spend so much money on packaged store-bought yogurt, and it's like it costs pennies to make it at home. So I'm going to show you a quick way to do it. It takes a little bit of time. You're going to have about an overnight span or an all-day span for it to culture and set up. But other than that, it's super simple and very rewarding, and on top of that, rich in calcium, just like the 3A Calcium Ultra. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. So to get started on your homemade batch of yogurt, you're going to want to start off with at least 2 cups of milk. Now, like I said, you're going to want to pick the milk that works best for you. So I have a nice almond milk on the stove, 2 cups worth. You could do something like goat milk, you could do whole milk, you could do skim milk, whatever works. So I have it on a medium heat right now, and I'm gonna bring it up to a medium high. And what I'm looking for is a scald, or basically when the very rim starts to have those little bubbles right before it goes into a simmer. Then we're looking at about 185 degrees. That's what we want. You can use a candy thermometer, whatever you want, to make sure you're in the right range, but look for 170 to 185. That's what we want. So just grab yourself a whisk, stir it up a little bit, and now what you can do is add a couple tablespoons of your favorite yogurt. This has been sitting for a while, so the liquid is separating, but you can see that's the active part of yogurt. Or you can buy a store-bought yogurt starter. A little bit more expensive, but it goes a long way. If you buy a package of it, it'll last you a really long time. Either or, whatever's your pleasure. But I suggest that you try with both because you're going to get different results each time. So like I said, I have a couple tablespoons here of my favorite yogurt. I'm just going to stir this. And now that it's come up to a nice scald, I'm going to take it off the heat and let it go down to 105 degrees, 105, 110, just so that it's lukewarm. Once it's lukewarm, I can whisk in my yogurt. We'll pop it into a 110-degree oven and let it sit for just about 12 to 15 hours. Now you're going to want to check it. I'll show you how to put it together for putting it into incubation, and then it's really that simple. After that long time period, you'll have yogurt, and we're going to play a little bit with some spices to make it nice and tasty. So now that our milk is reduced down to about 105, 110 degrees, we're going to whisk in our yogurt. Just make sure it's evenly incorporated and there aren't any lumps. Okay, looks good to me. So what we're going to do is divide this up in between 2 sterilized containers. Tupperware works fantastic. Just rinse it under really hot water, towel dry it with like a paper towel so that it's super clean. And then you can even take a paper towel with a little bit of a white vinegar on it and give it a quick little spread. We're talking like a tiny bit of vinegar. And do it on the lids as well, and that'll really ensure that it's clean. So like I said, we're going to divide this up between the 2. And then we'll put the lids on, and we're going to keep it in our about 110-degree oven. Here's the thing, a lot of people's ovens don't go down to 110. Usually the lowest heat that you'll find on a residential oven is about 170 degrees. So just bring it up to 170, and what you can do is take a rag, kind of fold it up, and prop it, wedge it in between the oven door and the base so that there's a little bit of a gap open, and that'll keep some of that hot air coming out. It's a great thing to do in the winter. It'll warm your house without having to run your heater. So I'm just going to put these lids on, and in the oven they go at 110 degrees for at least 12 hours. We're going to check them at 12. You can leave them in for longer than 12 hours, but the longer you leave it in, the more the cultures are going to keep setting, and the more tart, or you can say the more sharp your yogurt's going to be. So if you're using goat's milk, something that's naturally sharp, the less amount of time the better. So we fast forward about 12 hours, and this is the end products that you have. After those cultures do their work, you have solid, creamy, beautiful yogurt. You want to give it a little bit of a stir before you start working with it. And there's nothing wrong with perfect plain tart yogurt, right? But I like to have a little bit of something going on with the flavor. So what I'm going to do is sweeten it a little bit and spice it a little bit. It's got some warm kind of clove and cinnamon tones, and it's perfect for the season. So I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of an agave nectar. You can sweeten it with whatever you want, but agave nectar really lends itself well because it blends beautifully into this, right? Agave nectar, then I have about a teaspoon's worth of orange zest that goes right in. And then I have a pinch of clove and a pinch of cinnamon. Then last, I'm going to do a beautiful little vanilla bean. This is half of one that I already used a while ago. So once the vanilla is in, give it a nice stir. You want everything incorporated. And remember, if you're going to use vanilla bean, make sure you go for a fair trade type. And like I said, if you're not crazy about vanilla, just use a little bit of the vanilla extract. Last, we're going to give it a tiny pinch of salt, nice sea salt, just to bring out the flavor in it. There we go. It was that easy. You can kind of taste test, see. Yeah, like that's a perfect amount of sugar. So you might want it a little bit more sweet, you might want it less sweet, but start with those 2 teaspoons worth or 2 tablespoons worth, because that's a really good ratio for how much yogurt that we have. So this is a great base recipe. It has those warm, beautiful spices with the vanilla, the clove, the cinnamon, and the orange. It's very fall flavors, kind of Thanksgiving, Halloweenish. It's a beautiful thing. So you can add your own flavors into it to make it yours. Do a little bit of fresh fruit preserves. You can do some fresh fruit on top of that, maybe some raisins, maybe some nuts. Just make it your own, your favorite way to eat yogurt. So you guys will be really surprised by how easy it is to do this. And it's actually kind of fun because you get to experiment with it. And when you're eating lots and lots of calcium-rich foods like this in your diet, if you make this at home, you're going to be saving money and you're going to be supporting your bone health. Just like the Lane Medical with their 3A Calcium Ultra. Together, it's a perfect combination. They supplement each other beautifully between nutraceuticals and what you're putting into your diet. So I really encourage you to try making this one at home. It's a beautiful and easy and cheap way to make yogurt. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next time.